Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2021. It's week 47 and as you see in the background we are with daily race A at Suzuka East. It's the short circuit of course and we are in a Renault Megane. Now let's have a look at the race details first of all. We're racing 6 laps here at Suzuka East. It's a grid start and we are on sports medium tyres. Now, I've got to be honest, this race is kind of boring, and you will see why when we get into the race. There's some good driving in it, but yeah, compared to the rest of the week, which is full of drama, this race, not so much. Here we are then at the start. Flash away, as always. We can see Svetliel there flashing in that white car. We, of course, pick yellow, as always, because yellow is the colour of the channel. As we get ready then. So brake balance, we have it on +3 for the brake balance. As we get ready for the start. Traction control on 1. And off we go. And it will spin quite a while, including second gear. But I turn it off in second gear. And there we go then. So a few names you will be familiar with. Little Nicky there. We've got Shelty in here. Svetliel we talked about. So we've got the Finnish driver in P2 there as well. But heading towards turn 1 is sort of getting yourself into that line, into that train. And yeah, this is more of a train race, if I'm honest. As you can see, people trying to make moves here. So little Nicky trying to go around the outside of the German. It's not really going to work out as we go into the left-hander here. And again, it's just one of those where you just settle in because it's so hard to make a move because it's lefts and then rights and then lefts and then rights. It's all, you know, one time you're on the inside, one time you're on the outside. It's just... it all, you know, you've got no advantage. You see Shelty there on the inside. A little bit of a tap there from the German. In fact, the German could make a move on Shelty here. So maybe I'm talking nonsense. I don't know. But Shelty survives then. Down to P9 though. At least we found Shelty as we come through here. We'll go on a little track guide now. As you see little Nicky just did a bit of a bumper draft there. Shelty, who got held up by the Spaniard there, Vicky. And we're going to actually gain a position there. Happy days. Look at that. We're actually gaining a position in a place where you can't overtake. Theme of the week, if I'm honest with you. We'll talk about that later. Head towards turn 1 then. You can either use the tarmac, the 50-meter board, or the end of the pit white line there. You're not braking at the end of it. You're trying to get as close to that as you can. Chuck it in, and then you're going to stay in 5th gear for a little while until you get to this point here. The middle of the first corner, you drop to 4th gear, and then get it on the inside. Now, 4th gear is your best friend here. You're going to stay in 4th gear for the rest of the lap. So you go to the left here, you accelerate a little bit, then go to the right. So we're balancing the car at this moment in time. Accelerate a bit more, then into the left and balance the throttle again. Just trying to maintain that little bit of speed if we can. An extra mile an hour here, extra mile an hour there, always beneficial. Try and get as close to 70 as you can through there. Flat out a little bit here, lifting a little bit more. You want a really tight left into a nice right here. And you're turning just before that marshal box hits the edge of your screen here. You can cut this quite a lot and it gives you a nice line. You do not want to be straight at this point. You want to be turning quite early to cut that a lot. And then you can actually get on the inside, but you'll see that later on as the Spaniard there goes off. So we're up into P9 then as we continue on. And yeah, well, let's advance a bit further on then because, yeah, it's not that fun. So we advance a bit further on here. So you can see Chelsea on the outside of Stig on speed, who's just made a little mistake here. But Stig's on the inside. Stig keeps that place. So once again, we're in this long train for the curse position there. P6 that German's in. And we're just struggling to get anything done. Stig looking down the inside. Again, it's not really a place to overtake. A little bit of a tap there. Has to pull out of it. And unfortunately, has to fall in behind. So I'm started looking. I'm like, oh, can I get around Shelty? There's just nowhere to go. There really is nowhere to go. It's a real hard one, this one. If there was different cars, you had more of an opportunity. But yeah, there's just nothing here. It's so easy to control. You're in one gear. You're not braking. It's very hard to make a move. As you see there, that's how you do that corner again. You're just trying to stay on the inside here. Shelty keeps it well on the inside there as we leave that corner. And yeah, we're just going to have to sit here. Hey, we've got a jumpy Megane. At least with some fun happening in this race. Anyway, we continue on. Lap 5 then. And Shelty's going to go a little bit deep here. Just gets it slightly wrong. So I'm looking on the inside here. Now, Shelty sees me at the last second. Gives me just enough room there. But again, because I'm on the inside and it's a tight line, I either hit Shelty off through accelerating and understeering or back out a little bit, which I had to do. And Shelty keeps the position. So again, we're just stuck in this position of the reverse curse P9. Can we do it again though? Let's see. So heading up here, Shelty knows that I'm going to go for this move. Again, look, I'm going for that inside line. Shelty covers it very nicely. And yeah, Shelty's going to keep that place. So it's status quo really. P9, we didn't move up just from mistakes, but No overtakes. Literally zero overtakes. A very boring race, this one. However, what's not boring is the next 2 races, which are full of drama. Welcome to race B then, and as you can see in the background, it's Lego Maggiore GP, so we're in Italy for this one. We're also in Group 4, as you can see, but let's have a look at the race details first of all. We're racing 3 laps here at Lego Maggiore GP. It's a rolling start, and we are on the racing medium tyres. Now, as you can see, we're in the Volkswagen Scirroco, which does mean, unfortunately, the FF cars are reigning supreme here at Lego Maggiore. So you're going to have to go with them, I'm afraid. I picked the Scirroco, and as you can see by the livery, that's by Psycho Killer 69 from Driver's Room. We kept with the same livery as last time because I do like it. I will keep changing the liveries though, don't you worry. There were tons of liveries this week. Big thank you to Driver's Room. There were absolutely tons, and I'll continue to use those. Do check them out. Without further ado, let's jump to the race then, and let's have a look at the first bit of drama that we see in this week's guide. And this one's a bit of a weird one. Here we are then at the start. We've got a Scirroco and an RCZ, and then a Scirroco, and then what else have we got in here? We've got a TT there, P12, and of course Shelty is in the Megane. What else would Megane? What else would Shelty be in? Now, in terms of brake balance, most of the front wheel drive cars are going to be +3, so please do use that. I used to use +5, but +3, a little bit less oversteery, which is what a few of you do like. What we're going to do, as always, with Race B, we're going to start off with a lap guide. I say always, most of the time. And as you can see, we start a million miles away from Shelty. So it's the perfect time to do it. So we're going to head towards turn 1. On the left-hand side, we're going to brake just after that blue van disappears off the screen. Yes, we are using the vans again, as you can see. So just after it disappears, we're going to stop, or brake, should I say, not stop, and click the inside there. Now, as you head towards this right-hander, the hairpin, look for the end of the white mark on the right-hand side. That's when you're going to start braking, really. You'll be in second gear in nearly all cars, and you want to get on the real inside here. Get it as much on that curve as possible. As you accelerate out, short shift to third early in an FF car. Go over to the right-hand side, and then go towards the left. You want to clip the inside of the curb there. Get it as far left as possible. And then you're going to start braking for the right-hander when that orange bit of barrier leaves your screen on the right-hand side there. So, hit the brakes. Try and get it on the curb there. We've changed down as well. Not quite done as well as we could, but you want to get the car on the inside of that curb, really, and you will really benefit from that. So we're going to head down here, and that's the end of Sector 1. And on the right-hand side, we have 2 vehicles, and that's what I look for nowadays. I used to use the grey curb on the left-hand side. I don't use that anymore. So look for those vehicles on the inside. As they disappear off the screen, hit the hammer there, which is the brake, of course. Try and clip the curb on the inside, which we do very nicely. Accelerate out. Try and use as much of the track as possible as we then head towards the right-hand side. So we're going to be looking for the curb here. And on the curb is the black mark there. That's what you're going to use as a brake marker. Brake just before that, and gear depends on where you are and who you're fighting, etc. As you can see, we're in 4th gear here. We cut the inside, and then on the right side, we're going to try and cut this a lot. That gives us a good line for the left, so we could chuck it left and look at the line we get there. It's beautiful. Really outpaced Shelty through there, but we've got nowhere to go. But you can do it flat if you do it like that. Otherwise, you might have to lift a teeny tiny little bit. So we're going to head towards Banky Boy then. Of course, FF cars have very good brakes, so we're going to be last of the brakers here. And I've highlighted the 50-meter board and the end of the green wall. That's when you really want to brake. I'm braking slightly earlier here because, of course, we are right in the pack of it now. Or right at the back of the pack, should I say. But use the inside of Banky Boy there. Use that camber to your advantage and accelerate out. As you see, we've got Senna there, who's just had a bit of an incident at Banky Boy. You be careful of diving down the inside. You will see that later on, of course, as well. There is drama in this race. So we're going to head towards this right-hander then. On the right-hand side, we've got a row of trees with a gap in it. You're looking for the gap. You're going to brake when that gap hits the edge of your screen on the right-hand side, and you're going to drop down to 4th gear. Now, I dropped 2 gears here, but don't drop 2 gears. As you see, I'm going around the outside of Shelty here. This is an impressive move and a half, and Shelty did give me space, so thank you to you. And then at the end of the curb on the left, that's when you're going to lift off. You don't really want to brake for this bit, because when you brake, you get it all sorts of wrong, really. It doesn't turn as well. It's not very nice. So try not to brake, but if you have to, end of the curve only slightly, and then try and accelerate through there. So we get on the inside of the Greek here, and what we're looking for the last corner is the edge of that bullet sign as it hits the edge of your screen. Now, of course, I'm on the inside, so So we can't quite do it the same here. But we are looking for the move to get done here. And the Greek nails it beautifully, really, with that defense. Really did. I mean, if I had gone for it, maybe there'd been contact, but I didn't go for it. The Greek nailed it. Well played to you. And yeah, we're going to head towards turn 1. The drama is about to begin, folks. Up ahead, you will see an RCZ disappear into the grass. That's Ilnik. And then literally it comes back on. Unfortunately, tags a fine day to die. Tags them again, comes on. I'm not sure whether Ilnik thought it was the RCZ. I did check the replay after. It was the Audi TT that hits Nick, not the RCZ of a fine day to die. However, you saw there was a little bit of, well, Nick went into a fine day to die, and then a fine day to die pushed Nick off. So we've actually got a few positions here. Side by side with the brick, then down towards this right-hander. They're definitely on the inside here, and then Nick chucks it up the inside. Unfortunately, going to cause contact with me here. We just managed to survive with a bit of a lift off, and that's going to cost us a position to Shelty as well. So we lose 2 places there, unfortunately. Anyway, we're going into this left-hander. Once again, we're going to try and nail this as good as we did last time to try and get on the inside of the curb here. Then chuck it left early. We had to lift a little bit more then because it adds much. Shelty's going to get slightly wrong. Lifts off here. Not sure what's going on there. And then we've got a run on Ilnik then. So where's Ilnik going to go? And we're going to stay to the left here. So unfortunately, not in the slipstream now. The RCZ benefiting from the RCZ up ahead. So we're not going to get that position. So it's going to be status quo. Ilnik goes defensive at the very end there and tags the RCZ. So at this point, I know they're going to start battering each other, basically. So I'm a bit worried at this point. And you saw Senna launch it up the inside there. Good, safe move. I did see it. So I did leave a little bit of space here. Or there, should I say. So through there we go. And as I say, we know some carnage is going to happen here potentially, but not at the moment. So the RCZ is just going to understeer a little bit here. You can see that slight tag. At this moment, I know Ilnik's probably getting super duper angry. So you can see that going on the inside there. Very risky. Chance of a penalty here. So I look down the inside then. Not going to work here. It's a very hard move to pull off to go down the inside for the last corner. It really is. And it actually compromises me here with the Scirroco getting a good run out of that corner as we head towards the final lap. And you've seen all the race so far. How about that, folks? You don't see that very often. So we managed to keep this position, I think. Ilnik down the inside there. I think that was a move that was actually on, to be fair. Another slight tag there between the two. So you can see the drama really building up here. You got Shelty making a move on the Scirocco behind. So at this point, I don't know what to do, really, because I want to overtake, but every time I try and go for an overtake, something happens. So I'm sort of stuck in a big no man's land here. So through there we go. We're going to have a good run out of that corner on Ilnik then. Once again, we're going to look down the inside then, heading towards the right-hander here. And Ilnik goes for a very strange braking move there. Now, that could have easily been a pit maneuver. But fortunately, we survive it. Again, slight tap on the RCZ up ahead. I have no idea what's going on at this point. I'm like, are they trying to punt each other or what? I just couldn't tell because every time they went for it, it wasn't a full-on punt. You'll see one of them a little bit later on, actually. A full-on punt. But even so, we carry on. Head towards Banky Boy here. And again, look, you see, it's normal racing now. So it's so confusing. And unfortunately, the RCZ just runs a little bit wide there. Gets dragged back into the gravel. That's going to allow us a run on Ilnik then. And we're going to get that P11 position. And finally done and dusted. So we've got one more RCZ to do. However, not much is going to happen here because it's sort of status quo as we come through here. And that is going to be the end of the race. So first bit of drama there, you saw it. But honestly, it gets very intense with the next race. So sit back, relax. I hope you got some popcorn for this one because this one is very much drama. Welcome to race C then, where we are in Germany. And yes, that does mean the Nurburgring. It does mean it's a 24-hour layout. And it does mean it's not a full track guide for this one. However, you get the drama bit, so surely you are happy with that, maybe? I don't know. You'll find out anyway with exactly what happens, although some of it is in the title. Let's have a look at the race details first of all. We're racing 2 laps here at the Nurburgring 24-hour layout. It's a rolling start, and we are on the racing medium tyres. The usage ×2, tyre wear ×4. That is that in terms of the race details. With the rolling start, it's a bit of a rubbish one, so you may need traction control. I don't use it this time. A big shout out to LOL Power 73526 for the livery. I am in the Corvette, if you haven't noticed. I decided I'd go for stability with this one, and the Corvette is a very stable car, can easily do the 2 laps without too much hassle, to be honest with you. There are better cars, however, as I say, stability is key here, and I think a lot of you would benefit from the stability of this car. Let's jump to the race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens because, yes, as I say, drama. Here we are then at the start. You see a Supra, a Lamborghini there, feeding Elf. We've got Phil in there in the F-Type. Mixture of all sorts. Got another Corvette. We've got a few Corvettes in there, actually. A couple of Porsches, Beetles in there. Supra's top of the leaderboards, which is why a lot of people pick it. There's a brake balance. I went with +1. I think 0 works for the Corvette as well, if I'm honest. No need to go +1 if you find it a little bit oversteery. Now, the start, you can see here, terrible place to start. It is what it is, unfortunately. So you might want to use traction control initially. But the majority of people do end up on the straight. So, yeah, just try and put the best lap you can in, really. And hope you start towards the front of the grid. So, as I've always said with tyre wear means tyre temps. Do a bit of weaving at the start. Happy days. We are going to have a little bit of a track guide. So, turn 1, look for that tree on the right side. That's your brake marker for turn 1. A very nice brake marker as well. Very obvious. So, yeah, you're using that as your brake marker for turn 1. We're basically going to do the GP circuit in terms of a guide. So through the left, you want to keep it tight, keep it one steering angle, do not change your steering angle at any point through there. You will get a bit of oversteer as you saw, so just be careful. One to be careful at. This turn, as the GPD section of the circuit goes away, you're going to brake in here. Normally it's 4th gear and then down to 3rd gear. It depends on the car, of course. So down to 3rd gear here then, a little bit earlier. And on the left-hand side, we've got the red and white curbs there. As that ends, that's when you're going to be braking for the right-hander. You see I'm in the middle of the circuit. Shelty a bit more to the left. Shelty having a better angle at the corner. You can see Shelty takes that much better. Gets a much cleaner run out there and actually extends that gap a little bit. Heading down towards the hairpin. Then on the right side, you're looking for the hooks. Nice little hook there. Use that as your brake marker here. You can also use the curbing on the left. I did used to use that, but now the hook is easier to see when you're on the inside. That's now my new brake marker of choice. You will have noticed that on the weeks we've been doing the Nurburgring. Leave that corner then. I always keep it tight there for those interested. And then end up here, you're going to lift a little bit for the Schumacher S. And then just put your foot down then and it should be fine and dandy. Now you're about to see me outbrake myself, but don't do this. You try to brake as close as you can to that green little bit of AstroTurfy stuff there. Now I'm braking what I would assume is early enough here, but Shelty has to really brake hard there to avoid the cars in front. So actually, I outbrake myself in that situation. Now this corner is always about balancing the car through the corner. Be careful on exit about going in the gravel, and then we're going to continue on then towards the nice chicane. The chicane I wish to change the GP circuit to in terms of the GT racing that we have. Now on the right side, you're looking for that little bit of scaffolding there. You can see I'm braking a little bit earlier than the scaffolding hitting the edge of the screen. However, if you get closer to that, try to, because you can get a little bit closer than I did and then really attack the chicane there. Last brake marker of this part of the video then, the van. The white van there on the right hand side. Nice little brake marker for the left-hander here as we then enter the Nordschleife. So, all about this race then. It's 2 laps. And the only real overtaking is on the Nürburgring GP, and then obviously the straight at the end. Now you see, Shelty did make a position there because Max Power made a mistake into the barrier. But after that, it's sort of status quo. You can see here, we're just sort of stuck. Max Power having to dab the brakes there, can't find a way past. This is literally 1 car wide, possibly 2. Me and Alegna did 2 at the World Tour, a live event. How good was that? Not here, but a little bit later on. As we come through here, you can see you're sort of sat here just waiting for a mistake. You can't do anything. So if you get stuck behind somebody who's going slightly slower than you, yeah, you really, really are in trouble. Now, I'm not a Nürburgring master. It's why I'm not giving you a track guide for this section. I don't really like the circuit. I think it's a time trial circuit rather than a race circuit. However, it does present its own unique challenges, and yeah, you'll just have to enjoy it. There's no strategy in this race, by the way. You're just doing 2 laps. So, yeah, it's not the greatest. It's definitely a week of no overtaking, or very hard to overtake. So we're going to come through here, the foxhole, and yellow flags up ahead. It's obviously where I wiped out in the E3 video. Go check that out for GT Sports. You can definitely see me wiping out there. It's quite funny, really. So you can see on the inside here, Max Power goes. But up ahead, you see a lot of carnage brewing. Well, this is all part of the drama, really. And yeah, it's sort of a few people get wiped out there. It involves a certain driver up ahead, which we will talk about. They sort of came on and yeah, went all over the place, and that caused the carnage, really. So here they are, the Portuguese driver. They just made a mistake there. thought about maybe looking down the inside, but I was a bit too far back there. Just leaving this corner then. So they go to the left, and then they come over to the right here, which I'm not sure about. And I clocked it instantly. I was like, ooh, that's a bit unusual. So what I'm going to test now, and what I tried to test is, are they just going to keep blocking me, essentially? Are they just going to keep chucking it left when I go left, keep chucking it right when I go right? So I'm on the left-hand side. That's just a normal line there. So start looking towards the right, and then I look back to the left, and then I go towards the right. And they're so focused on looking at me. They make a huge mistake here. Not sure why they did that. Anyway, coming into here, left-hander. So I'm a little bit suspicious at this moment, but I'm not thinking anything of it, really. I'm just waiting for the big, long straight, really. That's the only real place to overtake on this circuit, unless somebody makes a mistake here. And speaking of mistakes there, the Austrian just goes a little bit too deep there in the Supra. So we do get another position. So we're going to head towards the carousel then. Very hard corner to get right here. You just want to make sure you go in nice and steady and stay on the inside here. So the Portuguese driver gets it all wrong. Comes back on circuit fine. I'll leave space here. Turns into me on purpose to smash me off. Yes. So at this point, I was raging because I've obviously seen now 3 strikes in my book. And that one alone is 3 strikes because it's quite obvious they did it. I even checked the replay and they purposely do it afterwards. But you could tell at the time. Now, look at the distance. They are brake checking the Austrian driver now for reasons I don't know. So at this point, I was just fuming. I was just like, what? Why is he just driving like an idiot? And then he does this. He does this. So he comes back on and purposely turns into the Austrian again. Well, at this point, I was just like, no, mate. You're not having this anymore. Way above the 3 strikes here. Absolute plonker. Oh, actually, not a plonker anymore. Momoz just dies here, unfortunately. So that was a Momoz death right there. That's number 1. Yes, or more. So coming into here, I was just like, no, mate, not having it. Now, I've forgotten how to wipe people out, to be honest with you. So I chuck it down the inside. And unfortunately, I actually come worse for wear off that than he does. So yeah, a bit frustrated. But yeah, no, I wasn't having it. I was fuming. I was just like, why do we have these kind of people in the game? They just have no idea how to play the game. It's irritating. It's just annoying. So a while ago, I did talk about a system for dirty drivers. I'm going to go back to that in a couple of weeks. Once my work calms down a little bit, which it will at the start of December, I'm going to start introducing this system that I had in my head. Whether we can do anything with it, I don't know, but we're going to introduce it anyway. And yeah, irrespective of it, at this point I was fuming, so I was like, I'll get the old pit maneuver going. Unfortunately, I get it all wrong again. I need to start doing wreck fests again because I've really forgotten how to do this. Unfortunately, he does have a huge F as well. Let's put it that way. He's off as well, and we're going to accelerate away. So I was just like, nah, mate, you're finishing last. You are finishing last. You no way. You're brake checking people. You're punting people off like a moron, a plonker. I was actually thinking of Dingleberry at the time, which is a very old insult. Anyway, we continue on with the race. So obviously in P19 now. Max Power unfortunately gets it all wrong at the foxhole. Very easy to do if you go too aggressive there. Just be careful about doing that. You see, good sportsmanlike kind of from Max Power drifts to avoid coming back on circuit in a dangerous way. We've got yellow flag up at the carousel. Now, I did say Momoz died once. Unfortunately, Momoz died again. And both deaths, I checked on the replay, were just spins. So I'm not sure whether the Supra is a bit unstable there or not. But yeah, Momoz unfortunately dying there. Momoz has turned a new leaf over. So if you do want to check out Momoz in terms of content, he does have his own YouTube channel. So do check it out. I'm going to give driver of the day, actually, to P3. Feeding Elf in the Huracan survives 2 laps. So huge shout out to you. Well played. Driver of the week. And yes, we can see the Portuguese driver there. So let's have a look at exactly what he wants to say. So I at first say, next time, don't try it with me visible or on me. Because he obviously tried to punt the other guy. He caused a massive crash. And he tried to punt me. Well, he did punt me, actually. Anyway, we'll just fast forward a little bit. I can see he's typing, so I'm just waiting. Next, you finish P19, me P20. Doesn't that mean I still win? I don't know. Anyway, I hope you did enjoy the little bit of drama. I was fuming. That's the first time I've raced in a very long time. But that is going to be it for me this week, folks. As you can see, I'd say get some respect for your fellow racers, which would be nice if people just respect their fellow racers and treat people how they would like to be treated. Anyway, as I say, I do hope you enjoyed this week's video all the same. Not the greatest of weeks. Yeah, it's one where there's hardly any overtakes. If you do want to check out some previous videos, there they are. My logo is there if you want to subscribe. But as I say, that is it for me now, folks. Thanks very much for watching and all support. And I hope to see you in another video or live stream very soon.